for the second output of Preppin data week 11, then we're looking to have a row for each box that is a part of an order, and we want to know how many soaps are in that box, and all that sort of information. We're going to also want to number those boxes from the most number of soaps to the least. So if we come into Tableau Prep, then where we left off before, we had each of our order numbers and we knew how many boxes we needed of each size to create those orders. Now we're already starting to think that if we need a row per box in the order, then we're probably going to need to do some pivoting again, and we're probably going to need to do a little bit of scaffolding to add in a few extra rows. So let's go through that. But before we do any of that, actually, we want to do some logical checks. So we want to know if these boxes are full up. So we want to check that through some logical conditions. So, for example, are all the 120 boxes full? Well, for example, first of all, we need that box to exist, so we need to not be equal to 0. And also, it kind of follows logically that if there are some boxes that exist that are of size 24 or of size 6, then that means the 120 box was filled up first before we went on to those filling those other boxes, because that's how we logically went through the process. So that's how that field works. We've got a similar one for all the 24 size boxes. So we're saying that, first of all, the box has to exist. And if there are any boxes of size 6, then that would mean that the 24 boxes were full. But equally, if there aren't any boxes of size 6, then maybe it's because when you divide the order size by 24, then you get a whole number, which would mean that that box was full as well. So we've got a couple of different ways of checking if the boxes are full, and that will help us once we've pivoted the data, and then we'll see that we can create the number of soaps column, where we're just saying if all the soaps if the boxes are full, if the 120 size boxes are full, there you go, that's what that there means. And if the box size equals 120, remember our biggest box is just 120 repeated, then we should use that box size, which is 120 in that example. And there's just a similar logical check here for repeating it, but with 24 in mind instead. And that's how we get our number of soaps for if those 120 and 24 boxes are full. Our remaining boxes that we need to work out if they're full or not, or how many soaps are in them, they're all of size 6. So there's a couple of other steps here where we just filtered out all the zeros once we've pivoted, because boxes that don't exist aren't of interest to us, and we just did a little bit of renaming and changing data types, etc. But that's all simple enough. So now we go on to the scaffolding, where we just bring in our condition here. We're saying the number of boxes has to be greater than or equal to the scaffold, and that just gives us 33 rows, which matches the output. So that's how many boxes in total are being used to fulfill these 7 orders. So we've just got one more step left, where we've got to do some calculations. Oh, did I actually? Yeah, sorry. So we saw here that we need to change our number of soaps. So that all those nulls were what we have left to calculate of the 6 boxes, or boxes of size 6, if you like. So we've got a nested if calculation here. So we start off with this if here, and that kind of goes like that. So we're saying first of all, well, we need to work out the number of soaps for anywhere where they're null, and this is how we're going to do it. Otherwise, just leave it as the number of soaps as it was before, so either 24 or 120 if it was already full. So this little if in here was saying, okay, once we've the remaining number, once we've used the 120 and 24 boxes, is the remaining after 24, and we're going to divide that by the box size, which is 6, and we're saying that if that's a whole number basically, then we're going to say the box size, so that will be 6 in this example, that box is full as well. So that's one of the ways it can be full, and we're saying that maybe if there are multiple boxes of size 6, then we're saying that, okay, we'll use the scaffold value of 1, that'll be the box that isn't full. All the rest of them are full, so if it's greater than 1, then that box is full. So otherwise we come on to here, where we're going to take that remaining value and we're going to minus off the number of boxes that are of size 6. We're going to take away 1 from that, because this is, wait, why are we doing that? Because there's one box that isn't full, so that's why we're needing to minus that off. That's the number that we're trying to calculate here, the remainder, and we're multiplying that by 6. So if I give you an example, for the one where it's 17 order size, then that would mean that our remaining after 24 is still 17. We have 3 boxes of size 6, so that would mean that the number of boxes is 3 minus 1 is 2. I'm multiplying that by 6, so that is 12. So 17 minus 12 is 5, and that is how many is in that final box, whereas the other 2 are full, and that's what gives us our 17 total. So hopefully that made sense. A lot of kind of logic going on there. But then all we need to do is remove some fields and calculate this box number. And to do that, we're using row number, which you might not have seen before because it came into Tableau Prep in 2020.1.3. And so we're doing a partition over the order number. So that basically means that we're grouping by the order number, and we're ordering on the number of soaps because we want the most soaps to have the first box number. So the box that has the most soaps in it will have a number 1 going down because, yeah, we want to use the biggest boxes first. And we're just assigning a number to that. And that is how we get to our box number. So there we are. That's how we get to our solution for the second output. And I hope that all made sense. And thanks for watching.